Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to be swapping out the spark plugs on our 2008 Yamaha Raider. Now the front two, really simple. The back two, going to be a bit of a challenge because that fuel tank's going to have to get removed. Now don't worry, I'm going to be right here to walk you through it step by step. So if you're ready, we'll dive into this. So on this one, I decided to go with the factory spec Yamaha NGK spark plugs. What's step number one? Real simple. All we have to do is remove the seat. And then we're going to remove these bolts and get the instrument cluster out of the way. And these are going to be a 5mm Allen. All right. 3 plug-ins. Just on that center tab, push down, pull. There we go. Actually, that last one, it just curls back around. So there's only 2 connections on here. Now the harness is going to be staying with the machine, so we just want to disconnect it from the tank. And each one of these you just squeeze in from the bottom and then lift up. Now it looks like this has already been taken off, so somebody may have already done the spark plugs on this machine, because that should have been up here. Guess we're going to find out. Now, typically what I have to do is just squeeze and twist just a little bit, just to break that seal loose to where the hose will then come off. There we go. Now we're going to pull these 2 bolts. These 2 that releases a cover are 4mm, and there's going to be 2 more under that cover. These 2 are 6mm Allens. I should have mentioned this earlier, but if your tank is full, you probably want to go ahead and drain as much as you can out of it, because gas weighs, what, 8 pounds per gallon? Fortunately for me, my fuel light's already on, so there's not much left in here. But if yours is full, do yourself a favor. Trying to move around a tank when it's full of fuel is not an easy thing to do, and you do not want to drop it and damage that beautiful paint. Next, let's turn our attention to the fuel lines, and we actually have a couple of shutoffs back here, because there is still some fuel in there. But Yamaha was nice enough to give us these 2 shutoffs, and right now they're screwed all the way out. That means they're open, so we want to bring them all the way in until they bottom out. There. The next step is to remove this side panel. Now it has a T30 security screw in the back, which has that hole in the middle so it can go over that little protrusion. And then a 4mm hex up top. I think we can get away with it just hanging right there. Just be careful with it so you don't scratch it. And what we were after right there is access to the top of the fuel pump, so we can remove this line, and then we have one more over here. We're also going to cut that zip tie and just replace it. Now, reach in, release this clamp. There we go. Now this one is going to squeeze in like we did on the front of the tank for those connectors and push it down. Not a lot of room, but it's doable. Now, we're about to release these 2 clamps. Now, chances are there won't be any fuel in that one, but this one back here, there probably will be, so just be prepared for that. Now listen, you don't have to remove this vent line, but it makes it easier to access where it connects to the fuel pump. There we go. Now this guy. Squeeze a little bit. Now do keep in mind, this is plastic, so don't break it. There we go. Okay, one more to get with here. All right, we should be ready to lift off now. Yeah, I have no fuel in here. Yeah, that did need to get disconnected. That's probably for the fuel gauge. There we go. All right, next, put this somewhere safe. All right, kids, now we're there. We've got access to everything. Let's start pulling some plugs. We'll start up front with the easy one. How's that? Save the best for last. It's always that one point, especially with a spark plug, where you're like, please go ahead and move. Ask anybody that owns a Ford Triton engine how they feel about spark plugs and what can go wrong. Really thin-walled. They have a tendency to break. And then that means the head has to come off. But that's for somebody else's channel, not ours. Typically, I'd remove one and then immediately swap it out, but we'll do it a little bit different. Not really worn, but definitely needed to be replaced. Man, this bike runs rich. You know, this bike does have an aftermarket exhaust, and I wonder if that's what is making it run richer. It should be going the other direction, actually. But this bike could definitely use a tuner on it. Running about the same. And now the fun one. Getting it out is not that bad. It's getting it to go back in at this angle with a swivel. But hey, we'll get it. Now the socket that you're going to need for this is an 18 millimeter, but you definitely want to get a spark plug socket because it'll have a rubber insert on the inside, and that makes it easier for it to hold on to the spark plug. This is not required, but personal preference. Too many years of working in the marine industry. I always put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads before we go back together. Love this stuff. It works with aluminum threads, and that's what we have here. And it does not take much. I mean, you just have to touch the side. More than enough. Let's get the tough one first. Just a little bit of electrical tape. Allows it to still swivel, but you have more control over it. Now when you're doing this, be careful. Don't even think about getting your wrench on here yet. If you can't screw it in with just your hands, it's not in there straight. Now we're going to take each one of these to 13 foot-pounds. Well, one more time. There we go. You want to make sure that you've got it compressed. Yeah, that's good. You can relax now, kids. The hard part's over. Now, if you've gone to the trouble to get under your fuel tank, you'd be crazy to not take a look at your air filter. Now would be the time. And we have a video showing you how to do that. See what it did there? All right, now it's seated. Because if you just take it to 13 and stop, it'll fool you. Compressing it down. There. Now let's get our caps on. And last but not least, there we go. Waiting for that sound. All right, guys, all four of them are in there, torqued down, the caps are on. Let's get that fuel tank reinstalled. There's one. All right, we got our first one. Let's get around to the top of the fuel pump. Takes a bit of wiggling, but she'll go on there eventually. There. And now we can put that vent line back on. See, with it out of the way, it makes it a lot easier to get to. Don't forget your zip tie. Get it back in place. Now at this point, we can go ahead and release our valves and then put our caps back on. And that's just counterclockwise all the way out. Now, our tins back in the back. Two hexes up front. Alright, our vent line. So we're going to remember to put the clamp on like somebody else didn't. Get these two pushed back in. Alright, get our cover piece back in. Got our connections, just layer in place. All right, let's get our cover back up in place. There we go. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. That wasn't so much of a bear now after all, was it? Well, listen, if you need any parts for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments about this video, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, if you like what you see, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.